For defending champion Marianne Dupo, Holiday Lanes has been her house. For tonight is her 4th consecutive TV finals here. Last year, she defeated Michelle Feldman in the opening match. But tonight, Michelle will have none of that. She's in the top spot and only needs one victory to capture her coveted first title. ESPN is proud to present the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour. Hello and welcome everybody to the Delaware Open at Holiday Lanes in Wilmington, Delaware. This spot marking the halfway point of the fall swing, and at $80,000 prize money, the richest stop so far on the fall tour. Hi folks, I'm John Neighbor, and a great show in store. As you saw earlier, Michelle Feldman is our top qualifier. It's the first time she's ever qualified in the #1 position, and the second time she's ever qualified for television. And of course, the last time she did this was a year ago at this very house, where she lost in the opening match to tonight's #2 qualifier, Marianne Dupo. Dupo's on a tear this year, 3 second-place finishes so far this season, and you can bet she doesn't want to be a bridesmaid again. Julie Gardner has been a top amateur in the early 90s, won a silver medal at the Pan American Games. This year marks the first time she's decided to play the sport full-time. And of course, the bowler's having great success here, qualifying in the #3 position. Before we meet numbers 4 and 5, let's go down to our own Leila Wagner on the lanes.
Thanks, John. Qualifying for the first match for the 2nd week in a row, the bowler of the decade for the 80s, Lisa Wagner. Lisa, last week it was obvious that lane choice played a big part in the match. This week the tables are turned. You have the choice. Do you feel confident on one or either of the lanes?
This week I felt like I really didn't have a difference. To me, they both were pretty similar, and I went with the choice that I always go with when I'm not sure. She can start.
All right, she's starting the match, and that she is the lady that went up the ladder last week, again qualifying for match #1, Wendy McPherson Papanos. Wendy, you heard Lisa's decision. You're starting the match. How does that affect you?
Like she said, you know, we're all bowling the same number of frames, so, you know, we'll just see what happens at the end.
All right, these ladies are ready to go. Good luck, ladies. John, let's start match #1.
Thanks a lot, Leila, and indeed, Wendy gets us started on lane 41, the left side. Papanos having 3 victories this year on the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour, the only woman to do so, and she is leading in all counts on the race for Bowler of the Year. 28 years old, out of Henderson, Nevada. Her husband, Nick, will be joining her at next week's stop. And gets it going with a big strike in the first.
And as Wendy said, it didn't seem to make a difference to her whether she started or whether Lisa started.
Lisa, the Rocket Man, 5'6", Bradenton, Florida, bowler of the 80s, 30 titles. No other woman has earned that many titles in the sport of bowling. Three, 6, 10 left up.
We'll notice the difference in both of these players' games. Lisa Wagner going very direct at the pins this week. It was important for her to keep everything straight. That means try to keep her body in line, her footwork straight, her arm swing very straight, and just go right up and at him. The problem that happens, and which just happened on lane 42, is that she tried to point the ball a little too much, and it went through the nose.
Well, she rallies to grab the spare in the first. Wagner's 5th place finish last week. And I call her the journeyman because she takes this sport as if it was a career. She's just out to make a paycheck. She's not concerned about winning titles. I guess if you have more than anybody in the sport's ever earned, the titles lose their significance.
But do you know what? Even though Lisa says that, John, Alita Sill is right behind her with 26 titles, and you can bet Lisa Wagner is still trying to chalk up titles.
Wants to leave the mark too high for Alita to catch. Well, she finds the strike in the same lane in which Wendy McPherson Papanos struck to start our match. Of course, Wendy is leading in all categories: earnings, points, average, and rankings. Her 215.80 average, the highest on tour. 6 TV appearances this year. She won her 9th ever title last week in Pittsburgh and wanting to push that number to double digits today.
Taking a second look back as the 10-pin continued to stand. Wendy felt, I'm sure, that she threw an excellent shot. The 6-pin just wrapped around the 10. We talked about her being the leader in earnings. Tammy Turner is second to Wendy. However, Tammy Turner is out for the remainder of the year, will not be competing. Wendy has a $20,000 lead on 3rd place. Wendy using a lot of the approach, practically all of it, takes a 5-step approach, moves the ball out on the 2nd step. Just a little bit of a bend in her elbow. She comes through with a slide. You can see there again, a nice bend, but that can get her in trouble. She has a tendency to almost what we refer to as chicken winging it. She'll come around it a little too much at times, causing her to go left to target.
She had surgery on that right elbow. Another ringing 10 in the 3rd. Had surgery on that right elbow last year, wasn't it? And then had the electronic therapy treatment on it, little battery pack that was giving her little zaps all fall swing last year.
It was. She missed the first full swing on the tour last year.
Oh, my goodness. Big mistake.
Actually, because of Wendy's game style and in her release, as we can see here, by actually pulling the ball a little bit left. This happens many times on her first shot. It happens again here on her spare shot. This could actually hurt her arm a little bit more than a player that comes straight through the ball.
Like Lisa does.
Put a little bit more pressure on it. Lisa's arm swing's a little freer, a little straighter. Biomechanically, it doesn't hurt her as much.
2-4-10.
The spare, very makeable. Lisa can hit left of the 2-pin. She can slide it into the 10-pin. The ball will take out the 4. She would really have liked to have doubled there, increased that lead to 22, and with Wendy sitting on an open frame.
That open frame dropped Papanos back 12 pins. Lisa could pretty well lock up that early lead. A little high. So Lisa Wagner, we asked her earlier if making the show last week made her a little bit more comfortable this week.
Well, this week I didn't feel like I had that good of a shot. So I was trying to draw back on what I used to do when I was younger and get something that went straight, throw it right at the pocket. And I was able to draw back on that, which was, you know, for me, I haven't been able to do that for many years, and it felt really good to make the show. I shocked myself a lot. It felt really good.
I don't know if Lisa Wagner making a show is a shock to anybody in the sport.
Well, what she was really referring to, John, is that she was able to do something that she did so well in the 80s, and that was keep everything straight. And by being able to draw on that when she didn't have a particular lane condition that really benefited her game, really gave her confidence this week and helped her make the show.
Well, she picks up the spare in the 4th. The battle continues in match number 1, a rematch of last week's opening match between Wendy Papanos and Lisa Wagner. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. John Neighbor with Leila Wagner as Wendy McPherson-Papanos steps up to the 4th frame after an open in the 3rd. The two bowlers both opened in the 3rd. Lisa Wagner spared in the 4th. And Papanos begins with a strike, so takes a...
Even though the match is even here in the 4th frame, Wendy really does have the best shot. She's left a 10-pin in the 2nd, a 10-pin in the 3rd. Another look at the strike here in the 4th frame. She's playing inside again, the 15th out to about the 12th board. Ball staying nice on line.
See a great TV pair average for Papanos, and she puts it 2 in a row. Now in the 5th.
Her TV pair average of 231 is really close to what Lisa Wagner and Wendy Papanos' television match play record is, I should say, against Lisa. It's just over 230. Wendy is 3-0 against Lisa Wagner on television. Right now, Lisa would like nothing more than to change that.
I see her muttering quietly to herself. Wagner does like to keep her mind on a single word or phrase while she's bowling. Bang! Big 10 off the spare. Gets a strike in the 5th. And we refer to Wagner as the bowler of the 80s, but she's a 90s kind of woman as well. As you take a look at the last 7 seasons, she's always been in the running, making the shows, earning her share of titles. One of the great performers. 4 appearances so far this year, 1 title at the Queens, a big major for her.
7 titles in 7 years. There's not a player out here that wouldn't take that. Lisa really struggled, though, in 91, only making 1 show after making so many shows per year. It was a tough year for her, but she turned things around.
She's turning things around nicely here as well. 4 strikes in a row for the 2 bowlers. So McPherson, stepping up now on a string of 2, wants to get the turkey in the 6th.
Well, last week's match went right down to the 10th frame. This week's match looks like it's going to do the same.
We've had great quality of bowling out of these ladies this swing. And that 10 pin's glued to the floor over there.
That particular shot, the ball went quite a bit longer than the shot previously on 42 before it made its turn up to the pocket. Ball not driving hard enough into the pocket then. At that point, 6-pin basically just sat in the channel, did not do the work to get out the 10.
Now we've seen her miss this shot in the 3rd frame. Not twice in a row, though. Trailing by 1 as a result of missing that 10 pin in the 6th frame. Now Wagner, can she get a turkey? Well, we'll see, Wendy, if she can come off the spare. Wagner's attitude has been very good throughout the tournament, helping some of the other bowlers. In fact, we'll tell you a little bit later that the top qualifier got some verbal assistance from Wagner earlier in the week. And now it's the 7 that doesn't cooperate.
Wendy was so nonchalant about watching the show last week and her performance. She said, you know, after I watched the show, I wasn't really sure that I should have won or really did win, or should have was her main word. There were so many ups and downs in the night by missing the spare here and there.
She has consistently found herself in a position to have to rally.
But she rallies very well.
Ooh, picking that up. So she gets 2 spares in a row. We'll take a short break and come back with the conclusion of match number 1 here at the Delaware Open at the Holiday Lanes in Claymont, Delaware. Stick around. Welcome back. Lisa Wagner leading by 2 pins in match number 1. She's got 2 strikes in a row. Now in the 7th frame.
Lisa Wagner, one of the few players still out or on the tour that are throwing 16-pound equipment. She said she really felt that benefited her this week because of the fact that this particular bowling center puts in new pins prior to the event. New pins are harder to knock down. They just don't respond as well. And she thought the 16 pounds helped carry a little bit better. Lisa Wagner with that methodical 4-step approach. Textbook swing. Big push away, high backswing, low knee bend. If you're going to teach a bowler to bowl, Lisa Wagner's the type you teach. Perfect in the pocket, all 10 in the back. That's the style. 1, 2, 3, 4. Push on the first step into the pendulum swing. This is the type that a junior bowler should emulate.
Strike in the 7th, pushed her lead from 2 to 12 pins. Can she put 4 in a row on the board? A little high, almost got the bucket. Took down 7 pins.
Lisa Wagner constantly struggling to tone her ball speed down a little bit. Many times this is helpful to her, but it can get her in trouble. Right now she gets a little fired up, throws it a little too hard. Ball does not get a chance to drive hard enough into the pocket.
She's talking to herself again. She loves to do that. Oh, chopped them apart. That's going to open a door.
An easy mistake to make on this kind of condition. If she would have moved over a little bit left, she probably would have slid and not got the sleeper pin. Therefore, she moves a little right, tries to point at it. The ball catches the back ends, hooks, and she still misses the sleeper pin.
So now with the open in the 8th, the best she can roll off the sheet is a 213. Wendy comes back. Oh!
A little thumbs up from Wendy. Just when she needs it, she leaves a pack 8. A lot. I can't tell you how many packed pocket shots that I watched last night leave something in the back row. 8 pins, 9 pins, 7 pins, and 10s. But unbelievable, the carry for the ladies this week when they pounded the pocket. It was not good.
And the crowd gasps again.
Watch the pin action here. Head pin is going to go against the wall. 5-pin shoots straight back. Does not take out the 8 as it should. Here's her reaction on the second shot. She just misses the 8-pin. She can't believe it. Here's the first shot. She goes straight at it. The ball just hooks right by it.
Well, let's see how well she shakes it off. She shakes it off nicely to strike in the foundation frame, but 2 opens, both bowlers.
And both single pins for Wendy. Missing a 10-pin and an 8-pin is really unheard of to be able to win the match and move on. Lisa Wagner adding a piece of tape. Needs 3 strikes, 2 pins. She can then advance.
Well, we've seen her put 3 together in the 5th, 6th, and 7th frame. Wagner admitted that she felt she deserved to lose last week as she lost to Wendy in that first match. She didn't feel she bowled that well last week. The first of 3 strikes she needs. They're on the board.
Now that has been Lisa's good lane. She has failed to strike. No, I take that back. She did strike in the 2nd and the 6th on this left lane. She went light on lane 41 last time. We'll see if she makes the adjustment.
Two strikes, small count, needed to win. And Wendy's got to be kicking herself.
Absolutely. Wow, unbelievable pin action. Well, not only is Wendy kicking herself, she's saying, why didn't the 8-pin go in the first place?
Right, good point.
Watch the pin action here. I mean, this ball demolishes them. 5-pin, gone long time ago, into the 7, head pin off the wall. No doubt all 10 were gone.
Wasn't Lisa telling us about how important ball speed was in this house?
Well, she felt that ball speed, you definitely needed ball speed here. But again,
it's the 16 pounds for her.
It was the 16 pounds that helped. And also, if she gets a little too fast, then her ball does not have time to drive hard enough. This is a key shot right here.
Oh, my. So there will not be a lockout. There will not be a lockout.
You knew the frustration by her reaction. Ball coming into the pocket. 6-pin is going to sweep around the 10. She thinks it's there. Oh, man. Oh, wave of the arm. You can feel for her right now.
2:02, the score to beat. It's going to take 2 strikes and 9 to win.
Wendy virtually has not missed the pocket this game. It's just been a carry factor for her right now.
Under her maiden name of McPherson, Wendy earned the 1986 Rookie of the Year honors. Youngest woman to bowl a perfect game on tour. There's a strike. Boy, that was late in coming.
She mentioned she shook off that 8-pin very well, bouncing back with a strike in the 9. We talked about how she has rallied back all last week. She's doing it again right now. But she also told us it was because of mistakes that she had made prior to that was the reason she had to rally back, and that's exactly what's happened now.
Needs them all. And doesn't get them, so that'll be it. Unable to get the points necessary. She won't break 200, so she'll earn $2,900 for a 5th place finish. Still valuable points and dollars into her record. And as we said earlier, quite likely to earn the title of Bowler of the Year this year. So Lisa Wagner wins 202 to 193. We'll be back as the young amateur, now turned professional, Julie Gardner takes on the winningest woman on tour. Welcome back now, match number 2, as Lisa Wagner is forced or invited to start match number 2 because Julie Gardner had the option as we take a look at the breakdown.
Pretty evenly matched, lane 41 and 42. She talked about that in the opening when I interviewed her, that she did not feel an advantage on one lane or the other, so therefore she decides to start the match, puts the pressure on her opponent to finish the match. In the last case, when he had the pressure on her to double and wasn't able to come through.
No nonsense about Lisa Wagner. Here's Julie Gardner out of Huntington Beach, California. She was one of the top amateurs for a couple of years, has been on the tour for 3 years technically, but she's never really gone out full time until this year. Leaving the washout on her first shot on TV.
And a little wry smile. With anyone's first time on telecast for a national title, always a bit nerve-wracking. Julie has made a couple of shows in World Team Challenge. Also, she was a 2-time national amateur champion, and with Team USA for 2 years in 91 and 92. They do bowl a bit on television. Great effort there by Julie. Just unfortunate break. The head pin wraps the 10.
I mentioned earlier she won a silver medal at the Pan Am Games in Cuba. Can you guess who handed her the medal? Fidel Castro.
Wow.
Pretty impressive little story, isn't it?
You bet.
It would have been a shame to face the bedpost so early on.
Really, the ball coming in a little too light at that point in time. She's probably not getting a real good feel right now of the ball. Head pin goes up against the wall. Hit the 4, hit the 7 at the last minute.
She pulled a McPherson Papanos on that one, leaving the 10. 2 open frames in a row. That's an unfortunate opening for Julie Gardner.
This has to only boost Lisa Wagner's confidence at this point. She knows Julie is not an experienced television player. She knows that it's going to be a little nerve-wracking for her, and if Lisa can just continue to apply pressure, she can wrap up the match in a hurry.
That's the 4. Interestingly, Julie Gardner was able to defeat Wagner in match play.
But there's a lot less pressure, John, in match play the night before.
And the TV lights does something to the conditions sometimes, doesn't it?
It does. And also the fact that it's very quiet in here, and you have a lot of people watching you throw the shot. But this is exactly what Lisa Wagner was trying not to do. Just open up the door for Julie. Give her any breaks. Now, we saw Wendy McPherson Papanos hook by the 8-pin. This time, Lisa does not get to it. The 4-pin.
So now trailing by 10 when it could have been much more. Excuse me, leading by 10 is Wagner.
Could have been 30
Yeah.
in the second frame with a strike.
Bring in 10.
Again, scores on the low side this week compared to other events, but a good challenging condition.
You were saying that's because the house tends to equip the lanes with brand new pins for this tournament?
They do, and it's very difficult to knock down brand new pins. They have a tendency not to fly as well. They act as if they're a little heavier. They're not. They just act that way. A little breather for Julie now. She's had a chance to sit down, maybe take a deep breath. As I mentioned, trying to get the right feel of the ball. I'm sure the perspiration on her hand. She's just needs to really concentrate on getting the ball off her hand clean with a good execution.
So, with a big strike in the third, I can tell you that Julie's been a pro for those 3 years. We asked her why she decided to make this year a full-time event.
I decided to hit it full-time because I didn't want to get older and look back and realize what I could have done, or could I have, you know, just made it, or I didn't want to have that question in my mind as I got older. So this was my year to go out. This is my opportunity. So that's why I'm here today.
Nobody wants to wonder if. And I can certainly understand Julie's reluctance to end a bowling career without trying to play with the top pros. And here she is in her first TV appearance.
Two very aggressive shots. I think this is a key that many players need to think about when they come on for the first time on television, is the fact to stay aggressive, don't get tentative.
2 marks in a row for Julie Gardner. I told you earlier that Wagner speaks to herself on the approach. She says a little phrase or word or something. She told us during the last commercial break that she's been saying the words, walk straight. What does that mean, walk straight?
Well, she's been battling her footwork. She has had a tendency to drift a little too much to the left this week. Something she needed to do was concentrate on walking just straight to the line, keeping arm swing straight. That time her footwork got extremely fast. She was at the line way ahead of her ball. Normally she is a little bit, but that time extremely fast feet. What happens when Lisa walks left, she has a tendency to bring her ball in with her and project the ball to the right. When she wants to keep things straight on line, like the condition this week called for her, she has to keep in mind to walk straight.
A strike, an open, and 2 spares for Wagner in match number 2 here at the Delaware Open, just outside of Wilmington, Delaware. Holiday Lane's been our host here for many years. Wagner enjoying a 9-pin lead as she's bowling now in the 5th frame.
Our host for 9 years with over 1,700 pro-ams this week. Phenomenal
Turnout, yeah. Great
turnout.
support. Great community support.
Eileen Dorman, promotions director here. Just unbelievable work she put into this tournament.
Lisa going right through the nose, leaves the 6.
Not to mention, along with Len Holmquist, his job that he does all year in promoting this event. I tell you, these 2 people start next week for next year's event.
Full-time job. And so, a quick spare here in the 5th. We'll take a quick break. Don't go away, though, because match number 2 continues here at the Delaware Open in the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour. Welcome back again to match number 2. John Neighbor with Leila Wagner as Lisa Wagner and Julie Gardner are in a close-fought contest. Gardner is just now spared in the 7th after leaving the bucket. Oh, my goodness. That's the second time that's helped her out.
Again, a much better shot. While we were away, Julie went through the nose. She left a 310 baby split, picked it up, came back, bounced off of that with a strike, and then she went light on lane 42 and again hit the pocket on 41. She is battling nerves. She's battling the fact that she can't get the ball off her hand clean. She does not have a good feel. She therefore then squeezes it. This is not the Julie Gardner that bowled throughout the week. She said last night she just panics too much, and I'm sure that's what she's feeling right now. She's got a lot of friends at home that support her. You think about them when you're on the lanes. She works promotions for Fountain Bowl. She's done it for 12 years. They're all in support of her.
20 different sponsors back there. Hello and thank you is the message she's sending. Wagner off of a spare and a strike gets another strike.
And here's a lady she's bowling against with over 80 television appearances. To her credit, it's something you learn. Lisa Wagner, her first time on television, probably was feeling the exact same way that Julie Gardner is. It's a learned trait.
With a 31-pin lead, a strike here will guarantee the victory for Lisa Wagner. When she needed it, she delivered 3 in a row. And so not only is it tough enough to have your first television appearance, but also to run into Lisa Wagner in the process. Gardner's best show this year, 8th place. Well, she comes back in the foundation frame. Gets a chance to redeem her pride, at least, as she goes into the 10th frame. A lot of people in attendance tonight, those many centers that supported the Pro-Am this week.
That's right. 17 different centers were involved in this year's Holiday Lanes Columbia 300 Delaware Open Pro-Am promotion.
See the score, trailing by 41 with a frame remaining. It's really just a matter of formality at this point, but seems like when the pressure's off, Julie starts bowling great.
Well, she knew she had it in her.
Mary Gottwalt from Dover Bowl, one of the many centers that helped out. Glad to have her, and special thanks to all the people that helped out at her bowl center this week. A couple.
We'd also like to thank John Spence from Winewood Lanes in Philadelphia. Brought down a number of players for the Pro-Am this week.
And so, chopping off the Hidden Wood, 171 the final score for Julie Gardner in her first LPBT television appearance. Lisa's just going to coast off the sheet here. Let's see what she does. Well, it virtually doesn't matter what she does at this point, as she's now made it 4 strikes in a row. So, Julie Wagner ends up with $3,400 for a 4th place finish here at the Delaware Open. Lisa Wagner advances to meet the defending champion, Marianne Dupo. When we come back, we'll introduce you to the other top finishers. Welcome back, everyone, to Holiday Lanes in Claymont, Delaware, site of the annual Delaware Open. Marianne Dupo, sitting down on the left side, was our second top qualifier. She elected to allow Lisa Wagner to begin the match in Lane 41.
And again, the lane breakdown, pretty even for Lisa. However, she has been finishing up on lane 42, so she has been getting additional shots on that lane. So 41 could prove to be the better lane for her right now. John, interesting, though, that Marianne Dupo has chosen Lisa to start the match, because Lisa will finish first. All right, no, start first, finish last. Lisa will finish the match last.
Would that be putting pressure on Marianne, or does she just not like that lane, maybe?
No, it is putting pressure on Marianne. Lisa will finish out. I was thinking that Lisa had been starting the matches on the left lane, but actually she is not.
She started the last one, the first one she did. So here we go. Marianne Dupo, Succossuna, New Jersey. The last title she won was in this house. The last 4 years she's made the show. Years of age, 4th year on tour. And she opens it up. For a moment there, I thought she was going to miss the headpin.
Looking for that light hit to carry. Her ball sliding way too far down the lane before trying to make its break back.
214.5 was her average on her way to her second place qualifying. She said this week, I have no clue. She was somewhat lost a lot during the week. But she's back with us there here. The Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour heads to Baltimore, Maryland next week as Kim Adler tries to defend her title in the Eastern Open. It airs Tuesday, October 29 at 11:30 p.m. Central Time. So be sure to watch for that program, but for now, all eyes are on Marianne Dupo. Frame number 2.
We talked about the fact that she had no clue this week. She said she was lost. She just made an educated guess on some balls she had in the car, and she just happened to find one that worked.
An emotional player, Marianne Dupo. Let some of that emotion spill over, which is kind of nice to see.
She's also trying to learn to keep those emotions in control.
Wagner's average last year over 582 games, 210.28. Madam Consistency, boy, she's been around for a long time and is still a threat.
And she's threatening Marianne right now.
Oh, I think that 5-pin did a full rotation.
Something you don't normally see from a 16-pound ball, but with Lisa's ball speed, the ball does not rev up enough, doesn't drive hard enough into the pocket. It deflected as it hit the pins. Lisa, with that wide grip, really has a spread index finger. Lisa's span is nearly 5 inches.
Really?
Unbelievable, the length of her span.
What does that allow her to do?
She's actually holding more of a sphere, so she's able to rotate it more with her hand.
But you'd think that would give her ball more of a turn, yet she shoots a lot straighter than most of the bowlers.
But her style and her speed, if any other type of bowler tried to throw the ball as hard as she does and as straight as she does, they would not get the rotation on it.
And the bucket for Lisa Wagner in the 3rd frame, working on the spare.
Lane conditioner definitely carrying down on this pair of lanes now. You'll see the changes in the direction of the ball. Players are not going to get the ball up to the head pin as well as they did in match number 1. The back ends not hooking as much now because the conditioner is sliding on to them. Lisa, she is probably going to have to move a little bit more right. Get the ball to drive into the pocket. Marianne, on the other hand, she might move left. It'll be interesting to see.
Wagner explodes the bucket, gets to sit down for a couple of shots as Dupo steps up again. somewhat of a frustrating year for her. 3 second-place finishes. She's been very successful here, and take a look at her performance here in Claymont, Delaware. Qualified 3rd, 4th, 4th, and 2nd. Won last year.
I think if Marianne lived any closer, she'd probably join league here at Holiday Lanes.
She does have a lot of family members supporting her on tour here at this stop.
Marianne's also trying to capture a title in '96 to keep her string alive. She won a title in '93, '94, and '95. And it came down to this event in '95 that kept that string alive.
So, a quick spare for Dupo. As we mentioned before, Marianne has made 4 television shows consecutively in this house. We had the chance to speak with her earlier and asked her why.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the fan support. I'm not very far away from home, so I do get a lot of people from the homeward bound coming down to support me. I started off slow this year, but they kept supporting me and told me that I can do it. Unfortunately, I ended up doing it again.
So, doing it again means making a show, but I think she wants to do something a little bit more than that today. 5-pin lead in the 4th frame, working on a spare.
I know her brother Brad came down last night. This is her mom, Rosemary Dupo. Also, her brother Paul came last year, saw her win.
Way left.
And trying to make adjustments where the ball goes light, then she actually makes an adjustment, gets the ball to go high. Marianne was one of the few players, along with Michelle Feldman, that actually played deep inside, well, and Wendy as well. They're able to play deep inside, get the ball down the lane, still get the ball to come back in the back end, hit, and carry due to their ball speed. There were other players, Anne-Marie Dugan, Leanne Barrett. They're a little softer with their ball speed. They were not able to carry this week.
Also in attendance, Barbara Guyons from Center Lanes, one of the many lanes that have helped this Pro-Am be such a great success. 1,732 adult and junior bowlers involved in this year's program. If it's not a record, it's certainly close to it.
Well, it is an LPBT record, that's for sure.
Congratulations, one and all. Working on 3 consecutive spares. I guess she's only working on the last one, but trying to get back into a striking form is Lisa Wagner. Right on the nose. Leaves the 4.
Lisa's still fishing. Actually managed to beat Julie last game, but Julie really never applied any pressure on her. It was a 9-pin match up until about the 7th frame, and then Lisa broke away and threw 4 in a row. Talking to herself.
Walk straight.
Walk straight.
That's a good way to focus one's attentions. Did you ever talk to yourself?
Always.
What did you say?
Always. Well, a lot of times it would be just hitch target, push up, push down, whatever it might have been in my particular game style at that time that I wanted to emphasize or really key off of. Usually your whole timing is based off of your first step. So there's usually a key that you can tell yourself in the first step. Might be push down, push out, push up, push low, push fast. Because once the first step is gone and done, you're on your way.
You're committed.
You're committed.
Walking straight. She lets it go. Oh, Harrington. So. Chance for 5 consecutive spares for Wagner here. Trailing by 5. And she does. 5 in a row. We'll take a short break at this point in match number 3. The winner of this match, of course, plays for the championship money, the richest winning purse so far in the fall swing. Find out about it. Stick around. While we were away, Marianne Dupo, working on a spare, came back to do this first of 2 strikes. Very solid. Stepped right up again on the crossover and did it again.
Ball coming in very light. Got a big break on that light hit.
Wagner responding off a spare in the 5th to strike here in the 6th, and now we join the action as Wagner has just let go of the shot. Her second strike. So she responded nicely to the pressure of Marianne Dupo.
Just goes to show you, John, how the level rises when one player applies the pressure, puts on the double, the next player answers back.
Dupo working on something at the start of her the 7th. She talked about a rocker step.
She actually started that back in the summer with the help of Brian Purcell. She felt her push away. We were talking about the importance of a good push away. Was very erratic, so she needed to do something to keep it in line. Brian Purcell from Ebonite said, hey, why don't you add a rocker step? So you'll notice when Marianne sets up, she's actually leaning back on her right foot. Her left foot is extremely forward, and she rocks into her first step, still taking 4 steps, and this keeps it more consistent.
She said she feels more stable that way, right?
More stable and more of a consistent push away. Before, she was one time pushing the ball down, one time pushing it up, one time leaning too far forward, too far back. Now she has a key, and this has been the reason that she has felt that she has had a lot of success since the summer.
Another reason for confidence is that 241 average on this TV pair.
See her leaning back here on the right foot.
Going left leaves the 310. So the string stops at 3.
She takes off her wristband to shoot the baby spare. Basically, she is able to, or baby split, able to flatten out the ball a little bit more. Chooses to go to a harder surface bowling ball. Does not want the ball to break.
So from a 15-pin lead dropping to 13, and now opening a door. Wagner trails by 1.
And she can take the lead by 9. She's working on 2 strikes right now. If she strikes here in the 8th. Lisa capturing the prestigious WIBC Queens title this year from the 5th position, or from the first match. Went all the way up the ladder to do that. First time she's ever won that major. She's only 1 major shy of sharing the Triple Crown honors with people like Alita Sill, Wendy McPherson Papanos. Right now, Lisa's battling a fly or bug or perspiration, swiping something.
That's nice to see she can smile at this point in the match. A close battle. Whoever wins this goes up against a relative neophyte on television. And so this is really the battle of the experience for the right to take on the relative newcomer. Must have been a lucky fly.
Hard and straight. Lisa playing right between the 2nd and 3rd arrow. She did move it left a little bit. You can still see the ball deflecting as it hits the pins, but she's keeping the ball very tight on line.
That strike gave her a 9-pin lead, leading the match for the first time.
Many times what happens now is when the lanes start breaking down, or the conditioner starts moving around on the lanes, which they do very rapidly here. And in a lot of centers now with the new resin bowling balls, they pick up the oil so quickly and move it around. You've got to move left.
Have to adjust. Oh, right through the nose, and they come back from behind to make it 4 in a row for Wagner. That fly really was good luck.
Almost unbelievable, but it does happen. Through the nose, doesn't even hit the 3-pin. Pins flying all over. Domino effect from the 10, the 6, and the 3. She's going, oh, no, all right, I'll take it. Yeah.
Thank you, lucky fly. Okay, nice lead. Position frame now for Dupo. She elected to finish first.
Marianne, a disappointing loss last night in the position round, left a stone 8-pin to lose the match to Michelle Feldman, or else Marianne would have been our top seed tonight. Marianne can shoot 224. Lisa Wagner can shoot 243. She goes off the sheet. She'd still have to force Lisa to get one more strike.
I will not go quietly into that dark night. Dupo fighting all the way.
All pins, very important. She really needs the next 2 strikes for Lisa to have to strike. Getting that ball right at target. Lisa Wagner is just going to have to stay clean.
.213, the score to beat. Wagner has found her groove. 4 strikes in a row.
She's going to have to stay clean. She is going to have to mark. Pounded the pocket. Wendy Papanos missed 2 10-pins in the first game.
That's right.
Lisa's picked 2 up this game, though.
And that's the mark, which guarantees her a shot at the title here at the Delaware Open. Exhale, she says. So she will be victorious in match number 3. Technically a small count. 2 to win. Just got to hit 2 pins.
And I think you were right. That lucky fly helped her get through this match.
So what's the opposite of fly repellent? Is there like a fly attractant? Well, she's got more than enough. 8 pins on her last ball, and so Marianne Dupo, the defending champion, finishes in 3rd place. $4,200, the prize money there. When we return, championship frame.
I'm with Connie Smoot, the Vice President of International Sales for Columbia 300. Connie, you've been involved in this particular event for 8 years now. How has Columbia 300 benefited from supporting this event?
Well, we get exposure from all of the bowlers in the surrounding areas. This was a record ever for Pro-Am entries, almost 1,700, and they came from about 5 or 6 different states. All of those Pro-Am people go back with a bowling ball from Columbia, and they tell their friends, and their friends tell friends, so we get a lot of exposure.
Do you feel that it's very important for Columbia 300 to be involved on the Ladies Tour?
Oh, absolutely. The Ladies Tour is an important integer of the industry, and we support it just as we would any other important integer.
All right. Thank you, Connie.
And thank you, Leila, as we're getting ready now for the championship match. Michelle Feldman allowing Lisa Wagner to start as she has the last 2 matches. As you take a look at the breakdown.
Again, pretty evenly matched for Lisa. Ironically, that these 2 bowlers are ending up bowling against each other. Michelle Feldman did not want to bowl Lisa Wagner, of all the players that made it.
In fact, Michelle gave Lisa credit during the earlier blocks. Lisa was coming over and encouraging Michelle. Ooh, that's an ugly split. During that interview you had with Connie Smoot, the two were talking, and it was Lisa providing advice and input to Michelle, saying, relax, just enjoy it. This is going to be fun. And now Lisa has to bowl against her.
She was actually telling her, you know, calm down, don't watch me, bowl your own game. This is something she's also said to her all week. Michelle has a tendency to get down after bowling a bad game, a bad shot. She's a young player. She's a new player on the tour, takes everything and puts it on herself. She's learning. Lisa, a veteran, is trying to teach her, and she has been this week. This game is no different.
And I'm sure Lisa didn't want to help her by opening in the first frame.
No, it's one thing to tell her to relax. It's another thing to give her the game.
Skaneateles, New York, hometown for Michelle. 20-year-old, second year on tour, but a lot of spin on that ball. Going for it.
Sponsored by her grandparents, Gary and Linda Feldman. Actually, talked about a lot of spin on the ball. Well, actually, this lady gets a lot of rotation, but does not send the ball far enough right. Almost catches the break going. Brooklyn, 6-pin slides behind the 3.
But she picks up the spare in the lead in frame number 1 and her second ever television appearance.
She's one of the stronger, younger players out here on the tour, but she's also has paid the price. She has suffered from tendons torn in her hand from the maximum amount of lift and release that she gets on the ball. Look at her grandfather, Gary Feldman. Her grandparents got Michelle involved in the sport of bowling when she was very little. They've owned a bowling center for the past 12 years. Managed a center prior to that. Their current bowling center's the Cedar House Bowling Center in Skaneateles.
Two spares in a row from the Holiday Lanes Promotions Department. Eileen Dorman sitting right there behind the bowlers.
Very responsible in filling those 1,732 pro-ams here in the 2 days that they had. And she was bragging to me, each pro-am squad went off on time. And I tell you what, that is an accomplishment.
Remarkable achievement.
Michelle said she was not as nervous tonight as she was in her last television appearance here last year.
Another split.
Ball breaking extremely high. Ball normally would have taken out the 9, but it continued to drive in the back end, leaving the 9. So Lisa is now stuck with the 4-9. She'll try to hit left of the 4-pin, slide it into the 9.
Looking for title number 31. A little high in the pin, settles for another open frame as Joe Irwin looks on. Very helpful to the bowlers this year as the official chiropractor.
One of the reasons Lisa was such a motivator to Michelle this week was she said, you know, I hate to see talent like that go to waste. And she realizes the talent that Michelle has. It's just a matter of getting the emotional side put into perspective, get that intact. She's definitely got the physical game to do well out here.
Well, Lisa's not trying to intimidate Michelle in tonight's championship final. 22-pin trailing
not
after 2 frames. Yeah.
Right, washes out and then 4 9s. And saws the rest.
Finding the groove. Wagner sits down, lets Feldman prove herself.
Michelle's a much better spare shooter now in the past year, so she's been working on it. Normally she used to hook the ball to the spares. Now she throws the ball very straight, tries to straighten it out.
Good match play for Feldman this week, winning twice as many matches as she lost.
The last shot, an excellent example of her ball reaction, the intensity, the revolution she gets on the ball, and how she can get close to the head pin and just make those pins fly.
She can deliver. Powerful toss. Great shot. 2 strikes in a row for Feldman. She'll sit down. We'll take a short break. When we come back, more of championship match, Wagner and Feldman. Welcome back, championship match. Couple of strikes for Wagner and 1 for Feldman in her absence. Starting now, frame number 7. Wagner working on a string of 2, trailing by 21.
Trying to make that 11 if she can strike here in the 7th. That's a big shot there. She could have cut that lead to 11. It would have tightened up. Only 20 years old, actually joined the tour when she was 18, got a lot of her adult bowling experience through the Women's All-Star Association, the WASA organization out here on the East Coast. She also has 2 regional titles.
So Feldman in the championship match had a 14th place finish this year. The Storm doubles with the defending champion Dupo, who lost to Wagner in the semifinal match.
Actually, Michelle said she has been making more cuts this year, but not finishing as high as last year.
She won't have trouble if she keeps doing what she's been doing here. 2 strikes in a row for Feldman.
And Grandpa Gary there offering encouragement. Come on, 1 more.
So as you can see, 2 strikes for Feldman in the 6th and 7th, setting her up nicely. 32 pin lead.
Michelle, that deep inside line, able to get the ball to hit and carry. Now she's using 2 different balls, 1 on the right, 1 on the left. She's playing the lanes very intelligently right now, and she's executing. That's the key.
She looks awfully strong. That ball moves with such authority.
Oh, she is. I mean, her power in her hand and in her release is phenomenal. But again, she has already paid the price. Only 2 years as a professional. She has torn all the tendons in her hand. And I shouldn't say all of them. She has torn a number of tendons in her hand. She had to lay off while the tour was on break, go through therapy. I don't recall this lady right here, Lisa Wagner, really having any major injuries like that coming from the sport of bowling.
Is it because she throws a straighter ball? Not so much
physical demand on her hands, on her arms, on her legs, on her body. Lisa suffers from tendons in her foot. However, that is not something that's really given to bowling for causing that.
42 pin trail. She definitely needs to strike here.
Lisa Wagner can shoot 216. Michelle Feldman is working on a 220 pace right now. She'd have to stay clean in the 9th and 10th frame, or at least one of the next 2 frames.
Solid performance. And Lisa very much accustomed to bowling at the end with some pressure.
So Lisa Wagner can look back here in the 7th frame and see if that 4-pin would have fallen. It would have given her 5 in a row. But the what-ifs and the would-ofs are something that so many bowlers around the country know about.
Another powerful release. Pocket hit. Down they come. That is 4 in a row. We talked to Michelle earlier after making her first TV appearance in Claymont last year. We asked her how she felt entering the center this year.
I felt very confident. I bowled here last year. I made the TV show last year. I bowled her during the summertime, and I bowled very well. I came in here one squad. I made enough money, you know, but I bowl well here. I'm glad to come back here every year.
And that could have been a prophecy because, in fact, she is bowling well now.
Well, the shot in the 9th frame is a prime example of the power that she can generate, John. She was off balance in the 9th. She barely hit the head pin. They all fell. Grandpa right now pumped up, can't believe it. But yet the shot then in the 10th, she was solid at the line.
She's got it locked. $11,500, and that shot was the one that did it. Now it's just a matter of protocol. Don't hold back those tears. What a moment. First time ever to qualify first, and she wins against the winningest bowler on tour. It's all over but the shouting.
She was nearly perfect in the pocket every shot except her opening shot when she went high and left a 3-pin, and you had to know that that was a bit of nerves. But you know, when Lisa Wagner comes out the gate and opens the first 2 frames, Michelle Feldman
Step right in.
Can step right in.
Well, what a treasured title this one must be. Without even bowling the 10th, Lisa Wagner congratulates the winner. 2 great champions on that screen, no question about it. Wagner, who helped Feldman keep it all together in the final rounds last week, or this week, finishes with $6,200 and a 2nd place award. So the 2nd time on TV, Michelle Feldman wins the title. We'll be back to talk with her before she gets the chance to go out and celebrate with Grandpa. Watch how he does when he sees her win. Great moment still ahead. And there she is, putting Skinny Atlas on the map, the champion of the Delaware Open. And Michelle, tell me your thoughts on title number 1.
I'm still nervous. I didn't want to bowl Lisa, especially in the last match. I didn't want to bowl Lisa Wagner. But she helped me all week, and she helped me through a lot of things, and she kept me going and told me not to give up and not to quit, and that's what I did. Sharing the credit.
Well, Lisa opens up the first 2 frames. What do you tell yourself?
Jump on it. That's the only thing I could. That's all I could. That's what I kept telling myself over and over. She made good shots. She didn't. But I'm telling myself, get up there, make a good shot, and just try to strike.
Gary, I know you. A big moment for you. You sponsored Michelle. How do you feel about her first win?
Fantastic. No words for it.
Tears of joy were obvious. We saw them.
A great performance. Congratulations, Michelle Feldman. Your first title on your 2nd television appearance. Remarkable. What about the other athletes as you saw them bowling? What were you learning? What were you feeling as the moment of competition was coming your way?
Oh, I was nervous. I had to keep adding tape in my bowling balls. I was over there, and my fingers started swelling. I couldn't get my fingers in my grips, and I just had to breathe. I kept trying to breathe.
Well, Michelle, what was Lisa telling you in the beginning of the match?
She said to just breathe. Don't forget to breathe. To just stay calm, make good shots, and I can't do anything about what happened.
Okay, congratulations, Michelle Feldman, a very wonderful champion here in Delaware. On behalf of Leala Wagner, I'm John Neighbors saying thanks so much for joining us here. Be sure to stay with us because later on tonight, the men's pro bowlers go to Rochester for the Rochester Open. And next week, it's the Eastern Open for the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour right here on ESPN.